Before I get started on this chili, I want to share the beans that I'll be using. I'm going to be using these low sodium kidney beans. They're the dark red. The light red will do. I'm also going to be using some low sodium black beans. I have them rinsed and ready. You want to take them out of your can. You want to rinse them really good and set them aside. I'm going to be adding some good quality olive oil spray to my pot. You could use just a teaspoon of olive oil if you like. Just enough to saute some onion. This is one diced. You want to chop it kind of really small. Yellow onion. And then I have two chopped medium-sized bell pepper. And it looks like a lot, but once you start cooking this and sauteing it and letting it cook down, everything's going to shrink. Everybody knows that. So don't worry about that. Just get it cooking. Season my bell pepper and my onion. I'm going to put a bit of salt. I'm using Himalayan pink salt. You could use any type of salt you like. I'm going to add a bit of pepper. I'm using Peppercorn Melody. It's just a variety of peppers. You could use regular pepper if you like. I'll let these onions and bell peppers cook for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and cover this and just let it reduce and let everything just saute for a bit. This is looking really good. Everything is nice and softened up, and we're ready to add the ground beef. I'm going to be using this Market Side Butcher Never Ever Added Hormones or any antibiotics organic grass-fed ground beef, 93% lean, 7% fat. I usually get the other Market Side one that is just grass-fed. They didn't have any left, but you know, it's only like $1 or $2 more, and I just like this meat. It has a good quality, and it's not that much more than the other ground beef. So try it out if you haven't already, and I'm going to add this to the pot. Break your ground beef up and just mix it in with your onion and bell pepper. Add 1 tablespoon of ground garlic or garlic powder. Either one will do. I have 1 tablespoon of onion powder. This is chili, so don't be afraid. This is 3 tablespoons of chili powder. And it does have a bit of salt and cumin in there. It has a mixture. So you could use regular chili powder, or you could get the mixed one that has the cumin and a bit of salt. I didn't know this one had salt. It just says chili powder, so usually I do use just the chili powder alone. And then I have 2 medium-sized cloves of garlic. This is fresh garlic. It has a totally different taste than the powder, so I do add some fresh garlic to the chili also. I have just some red pepper crushed flakes. I'm just going to add probably a half of a teaspoon. And I have the onion and herb dash. I'm going to add probably a teaspoon of that, or a little bit more. I'm going to add my salt now. And just salt it really good because I'm using low sodium beans, and everything that I've used does not have salt in it, or it has very little. Now I'm going to add my pepper. This is what it's looking like. It smells amazing in here. Let's move on to the next step. Make sure your ground beef is fully cooked. And now we are ready to add the kidney beans and the black beans, which I took out of the can and I rinsed. Adding 1 14.5-ounce can of beef broth. I'm adding some crushed tomatoes. I don't know if this pot is actually big enough for how I do this, so let's just find out. I didn't think this was all going to fit, but this is a 28-ounce can of crushed organic tomatoes. Add 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Make sure your tomato paste gets nice and mixed. in with everything. Add a bit more salt. And a bit of pepper. Add a bit of sugar. I'm using a sugar substitute, but right now is the time to add just a few pinches, not much, just a few pinches of sugar. Brown sugar you could use if you'd like that better, or if you're using sugar substitute, use that. But just put a couple pinches in here and mix it in, and it's just going to balance all those flavors out and bring everything together. Bring it to a boil or bring it to a high heat and let it cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. You're going to bring it back down to simmer. You're going to cover your pot and let it simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. This is how it's going to be looking when you're done. You could eat it just like this, or you could add a bit of cheese, whatever cheese you love. You could add a bit of green onion. I like it spicy, so I'm going to add some serrano peppers and just a bit of light sour cream. I have a toasted baguette here. It's a French baguette. I just added a bit of butter to it for some dipping bread, and you're good to go. This is my way of making a good bowl of chili. It is so delicious. You're going to love it. So try it out, and I'll see you in my next video. This is my take on a good bowl of chili.